Joe, here it is. This was a pretty amazing amount of work. But there's some more amazing stuff. Okay, this is your watch. This is all the stuff that I replaced. This is the Mainspring Barrel. That's the top of the barrel. That's the Mainspring Arbor. There's your mainspring, all of which were bad. Here's your winding rate. Remember that? All gross. This sits on top of the mainspring. This winds this mainspring arbor and winds the mainspring. There's missing a tooth. It's bad. This is your center wheel. This communicates between the halves of the movement. This takes power from the mainspring and spreads it through the train, and it also pumps it out to the front to run the calendar. This is your fourth wheel, and this goes through that center wheel. This is your cannon pinion. This snaps onto the front of this center wheel. So all of this stuff goes together. This is what's left of your combination click and spring. This is the ratchet, the little clicky holdy spring that holds this wheel, this ratchet, from going backwards. So as you go forwards, it goes click, 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 click. But half of it's missing. I don't even know where it was. It wasn't even inside the watch. It was just gone. This combination dealie here, this is your set lever. What's interesting is that this is a set lever for a different watch model. It says 6309. It shouldn't work in here. It did, but it's kind of crazy. And here are your seals, including the all-important, amazing crown seal. That's your original crown seal. I mean, previous to, whatever, a month and a half ago, these couldn't be changed out. By the way, you can see this brown stuff on here. It's this crazy shellac. Not only did your watch have a lot of corrosion in it, it like had this weird brown, like literally like shellac, like dried, glossy, clear shellac, and it was all over the plates and the inside and everything else. I had to go through all these extra cleaning cycles to get rid of it. But it's like somebody had filled the crown with this stuff. I don't even know what it was. Really, really weird. Anyway, but it's all clean now. Sorry, the light in here is not great. So, what I did with this... Oh, firstly, the amazing good news. Hang on. I'm trying to... This doesn't really make it look representative. See if I can get this to look the way it's supposed to. See, there's so much extra light in here. I don't know. Maddening. Okay. Let's just pretend that it looks as nice as it ought to. Plus, I sent you photographs that show what it looks like. Is that better? Not really. One of the most amazing things is that these, your hour and your minute hands, those are your original hands. I was able to save those. I thought they were going to be just garbage, because your sweep seconds hand was garbage. It was junk. So much so that the head split off of it. It's missing its stoplight head. It snapped off because it was so corroded. So I assumed that the hour and the minute hand were going to be bad as well. They are barely missing any plating. They cleaned up beautifully. This is one of the aftermarket hands that I restore. I do some special stuff to these to make them look very, 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 very close to correct. Almost no one would be able to tell that this was not genuine and original, and even then they would have serious doubts. It's an extremely, extremely close match to original, and it is something I'm very proud of, and it will work beautifully. The water situation was serious. It did a lot of surface hazing to the black surface of your dial, and I had to do some remediation there because everything was loosened up. You get all this water in here, and it sort of steams everything off the surface. Seiko did their dials with multiple layers of coatings, paints and enamels, and then a lot of times they used a clear coat on the top, and the clear coat on the top of your dial was just turning into this like white muck. It was just flaking off the surface. So I had to firm that up, because also in the process of the surface coming up, the original surface, because of the moisture, it was going to start threatening all of these marks around here. So I had to do a very, very, very fine enamel clear coat on this. I mean, extremely, extremely fine, just like a mist, just to basically hold everything down and to darken the dial down. Because previous to this, once it was cleaned, it had this sort of milky white look from all of the top surface getting all funky. But you can't even tell that it's there. All it looks now is that the dial is black again. It still shows a little bit of peppering, but not much. You can see that there's some marks on the surface of the indices. I could have pushed down through and gotten down to the lower metal to try and get rid of those, but you don't want to do it. It's just you're dancing with fire, and it makes it look worse. The cure is worse than this original patina, so I left it be. The loom I used, there are several different kinds of loom that Seiko used. A lot of them depend on the size of the grain. The early loom had big grains, big salt-like grains. And the later loom was much, much, much finer. And the way they were filled was different as well. I went with, this is an early watch. It's May 1971. And so I used the early big grained loom on this. If it looks slightly greenish, that's because it's glowing. Because it's fresh loom. Hang on a second. I don't know if you can really see. There it is, glowing. And the your pip just came. I mean, everything was steamed apart. Your pip came right out of the insert. So I got the little plastic lens back, and I reloomed that back in place. So that's solid now. Everything is as clean can be. The new seal is in there, and the movement is running very, very well. I'm surprised, honestly, that it was only this many pieces that were bad. But besides that, I mean, really, I'm extremely pleased. And look at the photographs. This video doesn't really show you what this thing really looks like, but this is going to be good for a long time for you. Thankfully, the case had no pitting, and the main plates were good, and the rest of it was pretty solid. It's got some wear, but it's a good original watch, and your family should be pleased with this for a very long time. At least I hope so. Well, I'm proud of the work that I did. I hope that you like it. Thank you so much.